Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, welcome back to another episode of the Double Kick Podcast. We double the kicks, we double the games, we lessen the hair on one person and double it on the next one. We're here having a good grand time. I am Terry Thompson, joined as ever by one of my closest friends, Dan Hoy. Dan, how's it going?
Great. I know I made the observation before we recorded about your hair. I didn't tell you if I liked it or not. Um,
Dang, okay, my bad.
I will tell you though. It looks good. It looks good on you.
Thank you. I was telling like Mal, I'm like, I really work in extremes. So I'm like, grow the hair out really long, and then I don't take steps to like go down, like to cutting it down. I'm just like, it's all or nothing, you know.
When
Um,
I first met you, Terry, I your hair was like it was short. It was
mhm,
I think it was like the spike up front.
mhm.
Um, but I don't think that lasted long. Your hair got a lot longer after that.
Yeah, yeah. College, I really wanted to grow my hair out, and that's when I first got like that's when like the man buns were in style and all that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so I had my hair long for a good long time. Cut it once a couple years ago, grew it back out, cut it again. I'm feeling like, I'm entering my 30s. It's time for a change. So,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
nice little transitional thing to mark the occasion.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Not like a loss of control of like life and time, right? Like you had to seek something to control, so you shaved your head.
Yeah, I was feeling very lost and then needed
Yeah,
something to grasp onto. So I'm like,
like an
maybe I'll shave my
existential
head.
crisis. Yeah, it
No,
happens,
no, I
it
mean,
happens.
no, absolutely. And I knew getting on the call with you, I'm like, that's gonna be mentioned somewhere on here. Like I needed to control my life somewhere. So I shaved my head.
No shame.
No, no. Yeah, no, no. Yeah, no shame to anybody that does that. That's a super valid thing to do and probably more healthy than other avenues of
Oh, yeah.
grabbing onto control. But no, this was just I'm sick of the long hair. Let's make it a little easier to get ready in the mornings for work and all that and just get rid of it, you know?
Nice. I'm
Yeah,
glad you made that
absolutely.
choice.
Absolutely. And you're damn, thank you very much. What was I gonna say? Mal has made fun of me. She said I look like a grandpa. Cause it was a lot shorter than it was like this. Like I had it like down to the skin when I first
Oh,
shaved
yeah?
it. But yeah, it's fine now. It's fine now.
Own it. That's all you.
Dan, the weather is nice outside. We're finally entering our spring era.
Mhm.
And in about a week, I mean, a couple of days, maybe like 5, 6 days from now, we'll be heading to PAX East,
We're
which is very
going to
exciting.
PAX East. Yes, it's,
Hmm.
been a long time coming. I'm
Hmm.
glad this came to fruition and the plans really started to solidify with us and a few other people. Um, I I think I mentioned last time, I have always wanted to go to this kinds of convention, right? E3 as a kid, but now it's PAX East.
Hmm.
And there's so many things I'm looking forward to seeing and doing with you guys. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
um, yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, it's gonna be good just to get the entire gang together, and our friends and one of our significant others, and just hang out, like we're all cool people, and
Mhm,
we
mhm.
are planning on possibly doing some kind of recording later on that weekend. So this episode might be on the little lighter side in terms of how many games we talk about, but I think the couple of games we do have, they're gonna
Mhm.
be pretty like chunky topics. So
Oh, yeah.
it'll be
Yeah.
like it'll be a balance. I feel like
Yeah, I think so. And
absolutely.
from our episode, from our podcast, we have Shots coming with us.
Hmm.
Um, Shots is uh, got a lot to say about a lot of things, but he's been doing his Stellar Blade playthrough.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if he's going to share any of that next week, but it'll be cool to have him face to face and have some feedback.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have like another voice on like the double kick portion of the show because it's
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
just you and I going back and forth. So it'll be nice to have like a third party to come in and talk about it. And Shots is fun because prior to him joining the podcast, and it wasn't always like this. I'm not throwing any kind of shade, but he really like kind of stuck to like 1 or 2 games a year. But he like played you know, the crap out of those 2 games, like
Yeah.
Destiny 2 and Final Fantasy 14. He was like super into those, and like coming onto like the podcast and stuff like that. Like he's like, expanded his reach a little more, like with Stellar Blade and recording these playthroughs. And we just completed that Fly Night game together.
Hmm.
Um, it's cool to like see him grow into I mean not grow into a gamer. He's always been gaming and stuff, but just
Branch out a little bit.
expand his
Yeah.
range. Yeah, branch out a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's gonna be fun like having that perspective and just hanging out. But you told me before we started recording that you have another question for us, and I'm like
Yeah.
trying to like rack my brain and ready up the improv muscles
It's
to
it's
answer.
not even like anything like creative. It's just like in retrospect, Terry.
Okay. Okay.
We've played a lot of different games and different consoles, PCs, handhelds. I am so curious. What has been the weirdest glitch or bug you've ever run into?
Ooh, that's a good question. The
Now, what
weirdest?
while you think about it, I'll just throw it out there. I don't know if it's the weirdest one or
Mhm.
I don't know, game breaking bug. But I've seen a good share of them. So
Okay.
I play FIFA a lot, right? So that game could be absolutely broken because sometimes they're just you know copy and paste for the next iteration, the next year.
Mhm.
Um, and I think one of the more memorable bugs is when a player scores a goal and they go to celebrate. And the team comes and joins them to celebrate. And there was one time one of my players scored a goal and he went to celebrate, but no one was there. However, the player was hugging the air. It just went around hugging air, and I took a screenshot a long time ago,
Hell
and
yeah.
that was like the strange one of the stranger ones. Another FIFA one recently. I'm playing on Switch 2,
Mhm.
and there'll be like bench players just standing in the middle of the field, not really moving.
Mhm.
Um, no, those are odd ones. But as far as the strangest one goes, it's got to be something related to like a Bethesda game.
Oh, sure, absolutely, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, known for him. Known for him.
I mean, it's even without mods, it's just such a big game and so many things going on.
Mhm.
It's just weird stuff happens, but I
Yeah.
can't like pinpoint one right now.
My favorite from, Skyrim specifically, and it's like I'm thinking of bugs, but I'm thinking of, like, bugs that, like, intentionally make happen.
Okay.
So my favorites from Skyrim there are, invisible chests that are, like, underground, like, they're, like, under the map, like, underground, and these
Yeah.
chests correlate to vendors. So when you go to buy something from, like, a shopkeep or some kind of vendor, their inventory is stored in these, like, underground chests.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mhm. So it, like, kinda like and then they respawn every day,
Mhm.
the inventory in those chests, but that's where it comes from. But you can find these chests in certain parts of the map. So there's one my favorite one's in Whiterun, in, like, the first big village. What
Mhm.
you do is, like, because when you walk inside of Whiterun, it's a separate, like, loading level than, like, the rest of the overworld. So it's kinda
Okay.
like you walk into the town, it loads in, and you're in, like, an enclosed walls. But if you, like instead of leaving out the front doors, which would lead you back into the overworld, you gotta find a way to jump over the gates. So you jump back over the gates, you're back in the overworld, but the rest of the world's not like loaded in because you're still
Yeah.
technically loaded into Whiterun.
Yeah.
You walk all the way around to the back of the walls. You phase into this certain part. There's like a certain part of the wall that you gotta like
Yeah.
phase into specifically. Then you go under the town. You'll find just a random chest floating in the
No
sky.
way.
You look into it, and then you could just like take all like that shopkeep's inventory, all the money that they have, and you can do this like I think it respawns like every day, so you can like just keep redoing that same thing every single
What?
day.
I
Yeah,
had
dude,
no
it's
idea.
dude, it's such an early game. Like, if you're, like, just starting the game out and you need some, like, armor and some money just, like, to get you going, I would do that every time. Just just
Wow.
recycle that. Yeah.
So you found sort of like this glitch and you exploited it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
that's nothing new, right? People do that all the time. I mean, I think
Sure.
about back when Super Mario 64, trying to do the infinite stairs glitch,
Yeah,
trying to get the
yeah.
Bowser right and stuff like that.
Mhm,
Those are so fun when like you do it on accident and you're like, wow, this
mhm,
is really cool. Um, but now it's like we have access to all this information online that it's
mhm.
it's not necessarily like unique or a cheat code anymore, right? It's just almost like standard.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and I some of the bugs I noticed like early on when I was gaming as a kid,
Mhm.
um, I would think they were so funny. Like Sonic Adventure 2, right? I would go past a wall and all of a sudden I'm in like this void and then I skip a whole level, right? Or something like
Sure.
that. I I don't know if there's any bug that has necessarily like annoyed me or irritated me, unless
Mhm.
it's like, all right, I'm stuck, I'm locked, and I have to restart.
Yeah.
It's a little annoying, but like I kind of expect them with video games at this caliber,
Mhm.
at this day and age. There's just so much behind them. So that's
Yeah,
what we
like
have patches for.
when the games get so big and there's so much to account for, it's just like,
Yeah.
not every single area can be like accounted for at all times. Yeah, it's like I don't know if there's a bug that made me that had such an impact on me that it like stuck with me my entire life. I
Yeah.
do know besides like intentionally exploited bugs like the Skyrim one, the first thing that comes to mind like sort of semi recently was when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet first came out,
Hmm.
and just how obviously how messy those games were to just even begin with. Um, but I know within the first like hour and a half of me playing this game, and I'm very forgiving about this game. I
Hmm.
understand that like it wasn't great. It was very rough mess, but I'm pretty forgiving about it because I think it was a good game underneath it all. But the first like hour and a half to 2 hours of me playing this game, like I threw my Pokemon out. I'm pretty sure it was my Fuecoco because I was in like the beginning levels. I threw him out for a battle, and like he landed like kind because it's an open world, so you kind of throw your Pokemon out wherever they land
Hmm.
and initiate a battle. And the opponent Pokemon was kind of like in a pond of water. So I threw my Pokemon out and it landed in this pond of water. And I don't know what happened, but the game, like the screen shook for a second. And then I just see my Fuecoco just like drop into like 1,000 feet into the map. And like the camera's like following him down. I'm just like, what is happening? um and then he eventually like he was still down there, and then like I initiated the battle and I just like kept going with the battle to get it over with. And then like once the battle ended, the camera like came back up and like everything was fine. So yeah, that
So
game was interesting.
strange. I
Yeah.
did have a creepy bug happen one time when I was playing Cyberpunk.
Mhm,
Um, I was doing it's one of like the more gruesome side missions. I don't know if anyone I think everyone mostly runs into it, but essentially some children get kidnapped
mhm,
and I have to do some detective work and go to like the warehouse where they are, where they were, and use I forget what it's called. It's like detective mode, but you can see what happened in the past because people leave
mhm.
like imprints and shadows behind. Um, so I would do that, and in this warehouse, in like a really creepy, unsettling context. Um, when I turned off the detective mode, I saw an outline of a woman still
Mm.
standing there. It was super faint,
Uh-huh.
um, but just noticeable. So I got creeped out because it was like off to the side in this like room.
That's terrifying.
Um, and I don't think it was meant to be there,
Oh
but
god.
I could see her there and she would be looking at V. Um, and like I felt like I froze. I'm like, this it looks like she's looking right at me.
Oh my god, I hate
Um,
that.
yeah, and it when I was in detective mode, like she was relevant to the story, or the side quests. And I'm like, okay, so that part's done, but she stayed there and
Mhm.
nothing ever came out of it. So that's why I think it was sort of a glitch. But man, what talk about like timing because that was like it elevated my tension.
Right, I was about to say, like, those 2 seconds before you even, like, realize it's, like, maybe this isn't intentional. It's like, "Is that supposed to be here?
Yeah,
Is this supposed
yeah.
to happen?"
I
Um,
Man, I wish I took a screenshot because it was just like it was outline and then like very faint floating eyes.
Ow.
So yeah. If anyone else ran into that, please let me know because that's I'm just running with that as a glitch.
Yeah, no, I hate that. That's so terrifying. I would've, like, turned the game off right there.
Yeah,
Jesus
I
Christ.
gotta stop playing games like in the dark by myself.
You just, like, ask for it at this point, I
I
think.
do. I do just ask for it.
I think that's what it is. Jesus. Well, anywho, before I start, like, peeing my pants or something thinking about
Yeah,
floating eyes in the dark,
I don't need it
Dan,
though.
why don't we hop into some games? We only got a couple here. I think two main ones,
Mhm,
but one that I'm really excited to bring up. It's one that I completed literally 2 days ago. I played through it in one day, and we have this giant like Steam family library now. I think so it's about like 1,000 games,
mhm.
and there's a couple games in there. I went through it and I started sorting them by ones that like I really wanted to play, and then I noticed a title in there that I've heard about for the longest time, and I've heard like people and critics have just great reviews about this game. And then I looked it up on how long to beat, saw it was only like 4 hours. So I'm like, let me make this game like the thing I do today. And that game is Indika. It is a game that came out in 2024, made by Odd Meter. And I'm not too familiar with this developer. Let me look them up on. They have Indica, The Archer's Tale. Yeah, they must be like pretty new. They don't have too many games listed.
Hmm,
Yeah, 2024. But yeah, developer Odd Meter, and I'm gonna talk about this game, Dan, and I'm gonna repeat a couple of words like so many times throughout this time of me
alright.
talking about it. And those words, it's gonna be. I'm gonna say the word theme a lot because there's so
Mhm.
many themes. I'm gonna say Christianity a lot. I'm gonna say guilt. I'm gonna say the phrase, "I don't really understand Christianity, so please forgive me if I don't know the specific word." It's just so many things I have to say about this game. Base level, you play as a nun. Her name is Indika, as the title of the game. You are you start off in a convent, like a again, I think it's called a convent, where
Mhm.
nuns are,
Right.
in what looks to be like 18th or 19th century Russia. There's like there's still electricity. There's electricity, but like you're getting around on like trains. There's no phones or anything. I don't even think there's no television. So I'm pretty sure it's like maybe even 19th century, something like that. It's really early on. But you play as Indica, and the premise is she's a nun, so you're in a convent with like your sisters and the priests and stuff like that. But you hear a narrator, like you as the player hear a narrator, and then you come to realize that Indica, like the girl you're playing as, also hears this narrator, and the narrator turns out to be the devil himself.
Oh.
So it's crazy, Dan. So like within the first maybe 10 minutes, you Indica is like praying with her like sisters in the convent. Everything is kind of like dreary. It's snowing outside. It's a blizzard. There's lots of like grays and blacks, and
Mhm.
it's a very dark game. And then you're in this room praying with your sisters or whatever, and like Indica looks up as if she's like hearing voices. And like again, everything's been super like fine so far. It doesn't seem like anything's out of the ordinary. But then like one of her like sisters like looks at her, and then you just hear this like electric guitar like happen, which is like totally doesn't fit the vibe. And then this little person like hops out of like her sister nun's mouth and like starts running down her arm. And then it's like it's just super like off-putting. It's like what is happening right now? And then like Indica starts to like freak out, and obviously everyone else notices. So you get the sense that this is something she's been dealing with for a very long time, being able
Right.
see the devil. And there are themes that pop up later on. Is like, oh, is she really seeing the devil, or is this like a theme for the doubt that she has when it comes to Christianity and her faith. I'll get into that a little later on.
Mhm.
But one cool thing about the beginning of this game is you're sent, one of your like chores of the day is like you have to fill up this barrel of water for one of like your sisters, or the head nun that asks you to fill it up.
Mhm.
So you walk over, you have a bucket in your hand, Dan. You walk over to a well, you put the bucket on the well, you have to spin the wheel to lower it down into the well, and then you have to spin the wheel to bring it back up. You have to grab the bucket, Dan, and then you have to walk, maybe like 20 seconds down to where the barrel is.
Mhm.
And then I dumped it into that barrel, and then a prompt popped up and it said 1 out of 5 complete.
Oh,
Like,
man.
you gotta be kidding
Come
me,
on.
bro.
Invigorating.
Invigorating, dude. So I walked back over to the well. I spun it back down. I spun it back up, and then I walk it back over, and I'm like, clearly, once I get to like the third or the fourth one, a cutscene's gonna happen and interrupt me. But no, it made me fill that whole barrel up, like go back and forth 5 times, and that was like 15, maybe like 10, 15 minutes of just me doing that very slow interaction. And then once I filled it up for the nun who asked, another like the door opens up like next to the barrel, and another like nun comes out, and she's just like, we don't drink water, given by her hands, like, indicating that the water that Indica gave is unpure or something. So they just
Mm.
like knock the barrel over, and just like all your hard work is just like thrown away. And it really sets the tone for what's going on. So Indica is eventually she's ousted from the convent, and she's given a letter to go deliver to another church like pretty far away. And that's kind of like your main mission. You're ousted and you're off to deliver this letter.
Mhm.
Along the way, you come across a couple of different characters, but the main character that Indika meets up with, and he kind of turns out to be your travel buddy throughout the entire game, is this Russian soldier. His name is Ilya, I believe. And Ilya, he's suffering, like something happened to his arm, right? And it's
Mhm.
like wrapped up, and it's turning necrotic, right? And in his arm, attached to his arm, is a cup. He has a cup handle attached like over his arm, and he's just like kind of like, you know, carrying this cup on his like rotting arm. And in Indica is trying to like convince him like, hey, we need to like sever that arm. Something bad's about to happen. And Ilya is just like, no, I'm off to like this church that's like over here, and I'm gonna pray to God, and God is going to fix my arm for me, and I have this cup, and I heard God in this cup, and I talked to God through this cup. And so again, like it's Indica is having her like moments and her struggles with faith in of itself, and she meets Ilya, who also goes through his own journey with faith. And I don't want to spoil too much because again,
Sure.
it's a really great story, and so many themes of it all. Um, but throughout the game, like when you get to certain points, there are like altars of like certain religious figures. You can go up to these altars, you can light the candle on these altars, and you get these, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called like faith points or something like
Okay.
that. But it's just like and again, the game it's a 3D game. You're playing as like Indica. Everything is so drab and dreary and gray, and it's like snowing everywhere. It's like a Russian winter or snowstorm is
Mhm.
happening. But these faith points you get, Dan, it's just like these like think of them as like sonic rings, just like bright yellow rings that are like pixelated that just like pop up out of nowhere. So it's like
Oh.
super like doesn't fit in with the vibe. So when you do certain things, you get these faith coins, and like when you get a certain amount, you can upgrade your faith. So it's like a skill tree that pops up, and like certain points on the skill tree are called like You can have remorse 1 or guilt 2, guilt 3. You can upgrade your guilt, or you can
Mhm.
upgrade your remorse or your faith. Um, and I'm sure, some Catholic listeners will be more familiar with some of these terms, maybe than
I'm
I
just
am.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around, like, why would anyone wanna, like, upgrade their guilt? Why
Oh,
why feel more guilt?
I'll tell you why. That's a great
Okay.
question. You'll get these loading screens,
Mhm,
right? As you like get in certain places, and the loading screens will tell you, "Don't worry about the skill tree. It doesn't really mean anything," or "Don't worry about getting all these coins. It doesn't really mean anything." And you're
mm,
reminded that like throughout the game, it's like it'll just like constantly remind you, "This doesn't really mean anything. This doesn't really mean anything." I'm just like, "What is going on?" Because when you upgrade the skill tree, you're not really getting new like powers or anything. When you like upgrade your guilt from 3 to 4, the only thing that changes is like, oh, you might get a couple more coin like faith coins when the next
mhm,
time you find it, or you get 10 faith coins now. But it's like really, it doesn't really like it doesn't do anything. And
right,
again, I think there's a theme in there somewhere of just like what does what does relying on your faith and what does like your investment into this lifestyle that is treated you like so harshly and it's like not giving anything back to you, what does it all really mean?
mhm,
And again, so Indica is traveling with Ilya. They're off to like this place that Ilya's talked about that's gonna like cure his arm, and Indica is interested in it because she wants to like get the devil like out of her head. She thinks like this place that's is gonna like cure that of her, based on just like her faith alone. And throughout the journey, Indica is just, there's so many good conversations between the two of them because they're not coming at Christianity from like two different sides. They're like both believers in it, but from like two different angles.
mhm,
And it made for some really good conversation. There was one point where Ilya, the soldier, he was like, why were you forced to become a nun? And Indica was saying, I wasn't forced to become a nun, but when you make a choice when you make a choice based off of like life circumstances, is it really a choice at all? You know? And then Ilya would be like, well, to have choice and to have free will, that's what makes us human. And then Inigo will have like, a good rebuttal. And it makes for good conversation back and forth. And that like really like, makes you think a little bit. It's nothing like
yeah,
super like, theoretical or like, gets into like the weeds of things, but it's just like good human conversation between two people who are of the same like religion and faith, but like coming at it from two different angles and having, their own doubts about things. There are fun sections in between where you find out about Indica's past and like what happened to her to lead up to becoming a nun. And these sections of the past, instead of being like 3D model, like walking around, they're like 8-bit little mini games. So
mm,
there's one mini game which is kind of like a Frogger mini game where you're jumping on these frogs and stuff. And then there's one which is like a little platformer. You're like jumping up a building, and it adds a fun little like, it breaks up the game. uh
I I just got a comment though, like,
yeah.
I wouldn't have ever imagined that you'd be talking about nun and Frogger in the same, like, context. It's really hard to picture in my mind.
Honestly, it's the fourth time this month that I've had those two in the same
Oh, yeah.
conversation for some
Yeah, yeah,
reason.
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of similarities in that one. But but no, it's like it's really cool and it has a great story. And then by the end of it, it leaves you with not a lot of questions, but it just leaves you with like things to think on. And it has a lot of great moments. And it's the game is really it's a really a walking simulator with a couple of light puzzles here and there. There's a couple of like chase sequences which I don't think are pulled off too well because it doesn't feel like the game was really meant for that. So it can get a
Mhm,
little clunky. Um, there are some really cool moments, Dan, like similar to like Little Nightmares, and like I don't know, I don't think it's really explained why it's like this, but it just kind of seems like it's an artistic choice. But all the animals in the game, Dan, are like huge, like
Huh.
absolutely like huge animals, like and like nobody like treats them or like thinks of them as like huge. So like there's one point where you're being chased by like a dog and they just like, oh, run, the dog's chasing us. But the dog is this like 1 story tall, like giant wolf thing that's like chasing
Oh,
you like down the street. And there's
I
another
wonder why.
section. I wonder why too. Yeah, but again, they don't question it or anything. It just seems like a cool artistic choice. And there's another moment where you're walking through this like fish factory and you just see these like again skyscraper long like sardines and tuna just being like, dragged along the like factory like ceiling or floor or whatever. And everyone just like treats it like it's normal. But it makes for like really cool visuals. Um, but
Interesting.
yeah, it's super interesting. There's not when I started the game, I thought there were gonna be a lot of horror elements just based off of like the like the not thumbnail, but cover art, stuff like that.
Right. That's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah. There are a couple creepy moments for sure. Um, but I think it has more just like, you know, dark tones more than anything. And by the end, like the game wraps up really, really nicely. Has you questioning a lot of things. And yeah, it's definitely a recommended game to play. I think it only took me like 6 hours. The
Yeah.
voice acting is absolutely incredible. Like Indika herself, you could like whenever she starts to doubt things, like either herself or the religion or the world around her, like her voice actress really like portrays that super, super well.
Hmm.
Her companion, Ilya, like he's just like he's really well acted as well. That's something about this game. Like I really didn't expect just like being able to just that really great quality voice acting that I just didn't expect. So I mean it made the story like play out even better, more for it. Um, the puzzles
Wow.
were fine. There wasn't anything like too demanding of my brain
Yeah.
power. I think I looked up something once in a walkthrough, but I mean, again, more so a walking simulator that just like asks a lot of questions.
Uh-huh.
It has some good answers and some questions that don't have answers that just make you think for yourself. And yeah, highly recommended.
I mean, I as you were talking, I have it installing right now. So I mean,
Nice.
you got me sold. I'm more so out of curiosity though, because it's not a game I would typically expect you to pick up and play,
Hmm.
or any of our friends, probably because it has such a strong religious backing, right?
Hmm.
Um, and there's some things you mentioned where I'm like, I don't know why that's a choice. I'm sure there is a reason and purpose why you had to fill a bucket 5 times,
Sure, sure.
right? But even just like you hearing you talking about it, I'm like, I'm trying to analyze it myself. Like, what does this
Yeah.
mean? I'm not a religious person, right? I don't
Hmm.
I mean I know enough about religion, but um I I like these games where it's like it doesn't tell you flat out why something was like a choice, a development
Yeah.
choice or artistic choice.
Yeah, I like that a
Um
lot too.
and so I'm sure there's like fan theories and lore and stuff like that. Um but also something to be said about like an intersection of religion and like existentialism, right?
Hmm.
And morals and values and worldview and all that stuff. It's a change of pace for sure than the games that you've been playing.
Hmm.
I see in our Discord that you spent 6 hours playing through Indica. It's a
Uh,
6 hour marathon.
mhm.
Um, and I'm like, okay, well, if Terry could sit through that for 6 hours, then it's got to be worth something.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna have it downloaded and probably just like sit on my Steam Deck for a while and just crank it out.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's a great Steam Deck game. Great, like, sit down and just, like, run through a level. It gave me the same vibes, and I don't wanna, like, say this as a negative thing because I know you weren't as high on the game, but it gave me the same vibes as, like, 1,000 Exorcists,
Yeah.
but a little more less nuanced. Like I think it's not as like mysterious as like 1,000 Exorcist was with the whole like plot line. Definitely not as long as
Mm.
1,000 Exorcists, but something about just like there's not a whole lot of action. You're really just walking along, letting the story like unfold to you. And
Hmm.
like you said earlier, like it's not the game that like it doesn't tell you everything. Like it's not gonna spell everything out to you. It
Right.
trusts you enough as like a player to like catch on to things and like fill in the blanks in between what's said and what's not said. You
Uh-huh.
know? Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
Terry, I do have to ask because little bit of background. When I download a new game on Steam, I like to like customize the cover art
Hmm.
through Steam Grid. Um, and so I'm looking through the cover art for Indika. And some cool options here. Super easy plugin for anyone interested. Just Google Steam Grid Boop, I think it's called. Click a
Hmm.
button, changes the art in your Steam library. Um, there's one picture. I'm gonna send it to our Discord between you and
Okay.
I. You tell me what this is about because it's really gonna determine if I uninstall this game in the next like 30 seconds.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
Right, right. Um,
You didn't say a thing about this doll looking character. It's staring back at you.
right, right. Yeah, you do come
You were
across
gonna let me play through this game and run into this thing?
That's on me. That's my bad. That's my bad. There are like you'll be going through a couple of levels, and there will just be a couple random dolls. Like nobody talks about them. They're not like nobody points them out. They're just kind of there sometimes. Um,
Okay.
you don't they don't interact with you. They're not moving or
Okay.
anything.
Well, I mean, that's a relief, but
Yeah, but yeah, it's
still a sight.
and you know what? I don't know what they're all about either. Like that's something that there's no lore. I maybe there's lore that I don't know about, but that's so funny that you can make that the cover art.
If when
Oh,
you post this episode, maybe that could be our cover, and then people know what
yes.
we're talking about.
Yes.
It definitely will shock you. Well, if you have a fear of that stuff, but
Yeah, that's gonna be the cover art, and the title is gonna be Nuns and Frogger.
yeah, Frogger
There you go.
Nuns. Yeah.
Frogger Nuns. Yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
absolutely. But no, I think you'd really like it, especially just for again the questions it asks, the
Sure.
themes it gives, and then by
It
the end, what you're left with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that. I think this is a game where it's short and sweet for a good reason because
Mhm.
you'd have to fill in the rest of the gaps. But I think
Yeah.
even beyond the end of the game, as the credits roll, it's going to be a game that I'm going to like just Google again and again to get
Mhm.
answers, or at least inspire my own like perception of the game and the story. Um, but my curiosity has been piqued. You played it. Our mutual friend Pat, I think, played it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Mhm.
it got good reviews. So, I'll give it a go. And I mean, you said 1000x resist, and yeah, that was mediocre for me. So
Mhm.
I'm not gonna like put too much, I don't know, devote too much thought into it, and
Sure.
just see what it is for now, and then see how that evolves as I continue.
Absolutely. Well, I will be excited, you know, listening to your updates if you get along to it again. If you
Yeah,
don't get to it,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's super fine. But yeah, let me know. Dan, we've got one more game, one in our main section here.
Hmm.
I'm ready to dive into it if you want to dive into it.
Let's dive right into it.
Cool. Dan, I'll let you take lead on this one since I've been yapping away. But we've been playing at least I've been playing a whole butt ton of it. I'm not sure where you are, but
Hmm.
Pokopia, Dan,
Pokemon Pokopia.
what's up with it, man?
You know, it wasn't a game I intended on purchasing or playing.
Hmm.
And for a few reasons. The first was it reminded me of sort of the hype for Animal Crossing back during COVID, right? And it
Hmm.
was a game that I never got into. I never even tried. But for me, if like there's more hype and talk about it, I I get easily not deterred by it. I I don't want my experience to be informed by the hype,
Sure.
right? I want to be authentic, sincere, and organic. So I think there was so much hype behind it. I never touched Animal Crossing.
Mhm.
Now, present day, Pokopia, I kind of got the same feeling behind it when it was introduced in one of the Nintendo things.
Mhm.
So I think in the past, when I heard that there was a new Pokemon game being released, I was like, okay, maybe it's recycled the same thing. It's not as fresh as I would want it to be for me. I know it's great for everyone, a lot of other people. Um, but then when I realized that my Switch 2 could game share with my Switch 1, my I don't know if you can hear Pokemon in the background right now. My oldest daughter loves Pokemon, and I'm like, well,
Mhm.
this would be a great like bonding game for us. She loves Pokemon. I could introduce her to the Switch. We could play together, quality time, and we have almost every night for like at
Aw.
least 15-30 minutes.
Mhm.
And it's like a nice way to end the night together.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's actually been really nice. It's a cozy game.
Mhm.
You're playing as Ditto in a human form, human-ish
Yeah.
form, right? And Ditto can pick up different abilities from other Pokemon. You're kind of reconstructing the land that's seemingly abandoned by all
Mhm.
humans from long ago. Ditto is looking, or I don't know, looking, but I'll say searching for where all the humans went, especially
Right.
their own trainer. Um, but in the meantime, we're meeting new Pokemon, we're building houses, we are making streams and rivers, right? And
Mhm.
obviously making friends along the way. So I think it has been a pleasant surprise that I'm enjoying it as much as I am.
That's
Even
good.
without, yeah, even without my daughter, I find myself playing it and just chilling, hanging out. It's very low pressure, low
Mhm.
demand, low key. And funny enough, I play it at night, usually to unwind, right?
Mhm.
And because there is that internal clock in the game, it is consistent with the nighttime I am in real life.
Mhm.
Um, so I've only ever known Pokopia at night, and it's only been dark and quiet and low key, and I think that's great.
That's kinda cute, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah,
I think I was worried about you. I mean, not worried about you, but, like, I was worried you wouldn't enjoy the game, Dan, because I know you weren't a huge fan of, like, Stardew Valley or, like,
right.
other games that, like, don't have, like, an inherent goal or, like,
Hmm.
a more poignant story or something
Yep.
like that. How
Hmm.
does Pokopia kinda, like, differ from that?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, Stardew Valley, I'm starting to get more into, but like you said, because I don't have any like direction, I'm kind of just like, I don't know, passive
Mhm,
is probably the word I'd say.
mhm.
In Pokopia, I think the familiarity is like nostalgic for me too.
Yeah.
And seeing these, I think so far mostly Gen 1 Pokemon,
Mhm.
gets me excited.
Yeah.
And I I think I've said in a different group chat of ours that I feel a disconnect with a lot of the dialogue because I felt like it was more childish.
Mhm.
I don't know if immature is the way I would describe it now, but it seemed like it was for a younger audience.
Mhm.
And maybe that's what it's supposed to be, right? So I don't have to think too much about it, and it's simple and it's straightforward. Um, but when I compare it to something like Fallout, where like, okay, I feel very motivated to go do this thing, right?
Mhm.
The side mission that has no effect on the story. It's a different feeling. I think that's where the story comes into play, and I really find myself invested in it. Whereas with Pocopia, I'm just wandering around, and I don't see myself having like long playthroughs or long
Mhm.
sessions every
Yeah,
time I boot it up.
it makes for a great, like, spend a couple minutes here and there, like, throughout
Yeah.
your day, like, a 10-minute, maybe 20-minute, like, sit down. I mean, it
Hmm.
also makes good for, like, if you wanna, like, spend all day playing it, but again, like, I think it makes really good for quick play sessions,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, it's enjoyable, right? It's That's why I say I'm pleasantly surprised. It's not a game I would typically, as you know, pick up if my daughter didn't have any interest in it.
Mhm.
And I actually caught it day one, so I was going in kind of blind. I didn't know what to expect, other than the
Yeah.
notion that it's something like a chill, builder game.
Mhm. Does she, like is her when she plays it with you, is her attention, like, does it kinda, like, laser focus in on it? Or is it, like, after 20, 30 minutes, she, like, finds something else to do, or
Laser focus. It
Wow, that's
is laser
awesome.
focus, and it's like after a while, it's not so much about the Pokemon. It's just the fact that we get to play together.
Aw, that's
And she thinks it's
awesome.
like so cool that she could see me on her screen and I can see her on my screen. Like
Mhm.
it's like completely new novel experience for her. Whereas for you and I, pretty typical to be able to play with someone else, right? Whether online
Right.
or face to face.
Mhm.
Um, but for her to see that and have her own like avatar, even though it's random, have her own
Yeah, yeah.
avatar, be able to do some of the abilities. We met Machop, who is her favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's so excited. She like put the switch down and she just like was vibrating. She was so excited.
Awesome. I love that so much. That's so
um,
great.
yeah, yeah, and I like that platform for us to have. So it's like I'm introducing her to video games, right? And also like how to moderate your intake or consumption of video games and devices and screen time.
Mhm,
Um, we're just sharing our thoughts and going back and forth about problem solving and what we should do
mhm,
next and planning. I know, like, back in the 90s when we were children, it's like, video games are only rot your brain, they're bad for your eyes. But now it's like, it's evolved so much that, especially with our experience as gamers, we know how to direct and sort of like use it as a tool
mhm.
to help us, to nurture those thought processes. So I'm really happy we have that together. Hopefully, it inspires her to play more games that are not necessarily brain rot,
Sure,
um,
absolutely.
and be a little bit of a connoisseur. Maybe she'll even join us for an episode here.
Yeah, oh my god, that'd be
Right?
so good. Yeah, I mean, like you were saying too, like, games like these, inspire, like, creativity, inspire,
Hmm.
like, problem solving, there are a lot of brain rot games these days, in certain areas and certain
Yeah.
platforms, but there are also,
Uh-huh.
like, games like this one, games that, like, teach, games that have, like, good stories that inspire, like, good morals and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and Pokemon, like, is just, like, that IP that's just, like that's that's a kid's, like, first love right there. That's,
Oh
like,
yeah,
something that they can, like,
for
latch
sure.
on to,
Yeah.
and, I think combining Pokemon with Animal Crossing, with, Dragon Quest Builders, with Minecraft was just, like, the perfect the perfect capsule to get, like, not only, you and I and, like, people who were, like, have fondness and nostalgia for, like, the Gen 1 Pokemon and
Hmm.
Pokemon in general, but, the newer age, like, audiences, like your daughter and, like, the younger kids these days who, like, have their newfound love of Pokemon, or maybe, like, the kids who, like, their favorite game is Minecraft, and they
Hmm.
also like Pokemon, so, like, they're gonna play this. It's just, like, a perfect encapsulation of, like, so many things, and, yeah, I've been having a blast with it as well. And like you said, I'm playing it when I first started playing it, I was playing it super, what's the opposite of passively? I was playing it very purposefully, I guess.
Aggressively
I was I was playing
aggressive
Pokopia
Pokopia.
super aggressively. I was screaming every time Charmander, tried to give me a gift, man. It was awful. But no, I was playing it like, I was like, I'm on my way to get the Pokemon Center. I'm gonna level up everybody's comfort level. I'm gonna go to the next area. I'm gonna do this and there. And I got to a point where I'm like, I started slowing down a little bit, and I'm like, because I unlocked the second area, I unlocked the beach area, and then I also unlocked the third area, but I haven't like done too much there. So I got the Pokemon Center in the main town, and then I got the Pokemon Center in the beach town done. And I was gonna move on to the rocky area. I unlocked like the ability to start cooking and stuff like that, but then I kind of stopped right there, and I told myself, let me like kind of like slow down a little bit, make this more of like a I don't know like if passive is the right word, but I wanted to go back to that first area and kind of start like building more homes there, kind of like decorating it a little bit,
Mhm.
start making more homes for Pokemon instead of like focusing on the end goal. I wanted to focus some more on just like, let me make this area nice. Let me have a little more fun with it. Let me slow down. So I'm building my town up. I'm making everything pretty. I'm unlocking recipes. And then like I'm finding out like the game is like it's really smart in a lot of what it does. Like, you can build a home for a Pokemon, like, you can build, like, the prefab homes that they give you, so you can, like,
Mhm.
buy the recipes for them, build them up as long as you have the right ingredients, have Pokemon make them for you. You can make the homes out of just, like, blocks if you want to, so you can make, like, out of, like, wood blocks, brick, or whatever, but you can also like, I have a home for Onyx in the side of a mountain, so, like, I carved out a door in the side of a mountain, and then I kinda, like, hollowed out the inside of the mountain, so as long as there are, like, 4 walls and I think a door, maybe, the game
Mhm.
will count it as a home. So I knew that he liked like drier, atmospheres. So I'm like, let me have this like dry cave for you, and then like, have him in there, and he like loves it, and it's just really cool, and then really smart from the game, and I got the ability to finally like suck up water and start like placing water wherever I
Oh,
want it to be.
nice.
Yeah, dude, so I have a couple, like, waterfalls, like, in my, like, main town, like, falling down. I've got my, like, Pokemon that love to be in a more, like, moist environment. I've got them, like, kinda, like, near the waterfalls and inside of, like, water-filled caves and stuff like
Mhm.
that, just, like and the game is, like, massive too, Dan. I don't know if you've, like, explored the first area a little bit, but if you go past the Pokemon Center and, like, go, like, north a little bit, there's these, like, rocks that you can clear out, and you can, like, break open the rocks, and it unlocks, like, a second half of the town.
Oh, wow.
Have you
No, I
seen
haven't
that at
seen
all?
that.
Like,
No.
dude, it's crazy. So you have a whole, like, second half of that first area town, just, like, a little more north. And then there's, like, this cave in there that, like, I went down to the cave and just explored a little bit, and there's, like, some kind of, like, unknown like, the Pokemon unknown, like, puzzle going on down there that
No
I have no
way.
idea what's all about right now. So there's a lot to figure out.
I will say there's a lot of surprises,
Mhm,
and it's like you have this ability to break anything and dig and explore and go anywhere. It's
mhm.
a lot more than I expected.
A whole lot more than I expected, and that's crazy, right? Like,
Mhm.
I thought this was just gonna be a simple Animal Crossing like with some, like, Minecraft in there, but it's just like, there's a lot to this.
Yeah.
A whole lot,
I
but,
again, I mean, I think I'll keep playing this game in short spurts. I think it'll be
mhm,
one of those things like, "What do you wanna do today?" I don't know, Pokopia, right?
yeah,
Almost like fail safe? No, safeguard, plan B, anyway.
just go
If I don't know what to play, it's always going to be there, and
mhm,
I won't have to, like, sort of catch up and be like, "Okay, what happened so far?" Because I could
mhm,
just kinda, like, go around and collect my honey, right? I could
yeah,
just, decorate a house that I built or what have you.
mhm.
I think it's a game I'll play for a long time in those short spurts, and then, see where my daughter goes with it, but, I'm glad I got into it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too, and I think the game, like, really lends itself to that short spurt type of thing, just like, the story is not pressuring you, there's not a lot of, like, timed things. Even
Mhm.
with some of, like, the elements of, like, the house building, you'll start to build a house, and it'll be like, "Alright, this house will be done tomorrow." So it's not you don't feel that, like, "Oh, I need to get it done today, today, today." The
Right.
game's, like, really telling you, "Slow down, this isn't a marathon that you need to get done, like, right now. This is a game that's, like, you gotta enjoy over time."
Yeah,
So yeah, it
and
makes it really nice.
it's funny because when I first played it, I was like, "Guys, why is it nighttime all the time? How do I make it daytime?" Right? Or is the clock going to be running so it eventually becomes daytime?
Right.
And it's like, the sum of it all is that, no, you go by your own time, right? The
Mhm,
game's not pushing you to do anything.
mhm,
I think that's what makes it so chill, and, I'm curious if I were to boot it up now, what the daytime would look like and sound like, but, there's no again, no pressure for me to do that because I know I'm still gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's no cons to just, like, just playing at night time or, like, it really makes no difference either,
Mhm.
so, I mean, it's a really cool aspect of it. It's a game I think is made for all ages, like you and I who, if you enjoy, like, the building aspect, if you
Mhm.
enjoy, like, decorating, and, like, people like your daughter's age who just wanna run around and look at Machop, look at the
Yeah.
Pokemon, just have fun
Yeah.
with their dad, like, playing the games like
Right.
that. It's just,
Right.
like it's such a cool side Pokemon side game that I didn't expect to be, like, it might be in, like, my top 5 for, like, games of the year
I
so
believe
far.
it. I believe it because it's so easy to just pick up and put hours into it.
Mhm,
Um, but I'm glad that you and I started playing around the same time. We, share that parallel experience,
mhm.
and exploring and discovering what this game has to offer. So, I don't know if there'll be another game like that that I'll be willing to just pick up. I mean, if they made a Zelda one, maybe
Oh my god,
that'd
stop.
be cool. So Nintendo, if you're listening, that would
Oh my
be,
god.
fire if you decide
Please.
to do that. So,
Please.
um, but no, I'm glad that, it came into my library. I don't know about other Pokemon games either. I think
Mhm.
they had announced what were the other ones?
Oh, yeah, dude, they announced, like, next generation Wind and Waves for
Wind
next
and
year.
Waves. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
looking good. That's looking good.
And
The
then like,
trailers are fantastic.
is there another like Pokemon Legends?
Yeah, Pokemon Legends ZA came out last year, maybe the
Oh,
year
yes.
before.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I bought that. I wasn't super high on it.
Mm,
It's an interesting one. So, me not being as high on that kinda, like, made me a little cautious going into Pokopia, but, I mean, they did their thing, so
yeah, they got it done.
they got it done, Dan. Speaking of getting it done, how about we get done with this segment? We'll go on a break, and we'll come back with some quick hits and call it
Yeah,
a day.
let's do it.
Let's do it. Dan, we are back. Ladies, gentlemen, ladies and thems, welcome to the quick hits. This selection, Dan and I are going to talk about, quick little games, maybe something we touched a little bit of or are going to touch a little bit of. Shouldn't be talking about things we're going to touch a little bit of on a recorded platform. We'll leave that to our private matters. Anywho, Dan, I've only got one thing for quick hits today. This is a game that I first played, like, when I first got my Switch. I bought it, God, 2017, maybe even 2018. Me and a
Wow.
bunch of my friends, like, played it together because it's a big co-op game.
Mhm.
It's called Risk of Rain 2. I recently bought it on Steam yesterday. I think it was like $8 for the spring sale. And then me and one of my close friends, Malik, played it together. And it's just like this game makes for a great time. It's a roguelike game. You start off, there's a bunch of different classes you can play as. There's like your the starter class is like your default, it's like character that just has 2 guns. There's like an
Mhm.
archer class who like auto aims at enemies, a bunch of different ones that can kind of get into more specific things as well. But I mean, the goal of the game is like you start each run fresh, like you don't have like any items, and then you run through the world as you're like killing enemies, you're collecting money, and with the money you find these chests around the map. You buy the chests with your money, obviously, and then a random like item pops out, and the items like do crazy things. And these items can like stack up with each other, and you can get multiples of the same item. So when you're getting an item that says like, oh, your speed is enhanced 25%, it doesn't really
Mhm.
feel like much at the beginning, but when you get 8 of that item, you're just like darting across the map at like light speed. When you get an item that gives you an extra jump so you can double jump, it's fine. But when you get like 9 of that same item, you're just
Oh,
like
man.
flying across the map. And that goes for like so many different things. There's like so many different items. And it makes you feel like super strong because you're like, you get stacking these items and these power ups. And, there are power ups that like double your damage or like chains lightning together with other enemies. And you're getting like compounded on by like enemies. So, like, once your runs kind of like go on for a while, the difficulty level will start to rise, and there's like a bar at the top where it goes from like easy to hard to like super hard to like whatever. And then you're killing bosses along the way. There's like a million particle effects happening on the screen at the
Whoa.
same time. Dude, it becomes madness, in such a fun way too. And yeah, like it's a lot of fun. I think it would be. I think this game would be really fun to like play as like with our group as well. I think there's a lot to enjoy there, but yeah, no, it's a great time. Again, only $8, and this is one of those classics. This is like a big game. There's a big community behind it. A lot of sickos who are into would really take the game super seriously, and I
Oh,
love
I'm
it
sure. Yeah.
absolutely.
It
But
just sounds like
yeah,
just pure carnage. Like it's
oh
just
dude,
chaos.
it's chaos. It's like my version of a numbers go up game where it's just like there's just like 1,000 enemies. You've got 1,000 power ups. You're just going. I mean, there's a little bit of skill. There's skill to it. Like I said, each class has their own way of playing. So it's kind of like figuring out like how you want to play and stuff like that. But again, like you're getting so many different power ups. And it's cool too because the power-ups, when you get them, they kinda, like, show up as a cosmetic on your body. So, like, by the end of the game, you're just running around, there's, like, a giant teddy bear on your forehead, you have a slice of meat that's on your left shoulder, you have, like, a missile launcher coming out your right side, you got wings for some reason. It's cool and madness in, like, the best way possible.
I love
And the
that so
music
much.
yeah, the music's great, the art style is really cool, some cell shaded stuff. But yeah, it's a good time.
That wow. I've heard of the game. I didn't know that this was what it was about, you know?
Mhm.
I was looking at it before. The art style, the cell shadedness looks really cool. Um, but I think this would be a good game to just like have to mess with and have fun, you know? It's a roguelike, so you're going to mess up and die a bunch of times. And
Yeah.
I feel like, that leads to a lot of like not humor, but like just good times, right? Just laughing
Mhm.
it off and with some friends and going on to the next round. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. If I come around to it, I might give it a go.
Yeah, give it a fun see. I think you'd like it. I think you'd like the absurdity of it all.
Yeah, absurdity is definitely down my alley. That's
Hell
really
yeah, man.
cool.
Thanks.
Um, let's see. For me, my quick hit isn't really a game. Well, there's a game that I have been playing. Um, I think it's Animutationum, which I may have mentioned before. It's a cool, like, not a platform. It's like a almost like a beat 'em up.
Mhm.
But the protagonist has like a ton of abilities and skill trees and stuff. I haven't gotten too far into it, but there's a lot of cool dialogue. It's like a cyberpunk kind of world.
What's it called
Um,
again?
Anno Mutationum.
Oh, okay. Animation.
It should be in our library,
Okay.
and so I forget who developed it, but I haven't played too much of it, so I don't know much about it right now. But
Mhm.
even like the early plot is like interesting. I'm just learning who this protagonist is and why is she, doing what she's doing, and
Mhm.
who are these people, and where are these abilities coming from. It's really unique in that it's not on the surface a game my eyes would like dart to.
Mhm.
Um, I forgot why I decided to give it a go, but it's fun. I mean, I got through some of the tutorial, um, and the mechanics are just like intuitive. It's trying to think of a game that I played before that resemble it.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe a little bit of Tales of Iron, where it's almost like a platform beat 'em up type of game.
Okay.
Um, and like you can do different combos and stuff. It's fun for the handheld for sure.
Mhm.
Um, and it's something I might get more into as we go forward. But I have a huge library of AAA games I'm trying to finish.
Always. Always.
Always.
I like that you always, like, bring up, like, games that just I wouldn't even know exist or bring them to the forefront. This game, I was looking at Severed Steel the other day and, like, remember that how you were talking about that, and I'm just
Uh-huh.
like, Dan just has, like, good taste.
Yeah, I also I like when I get into a game, before I get into a game, I do a lot of like research.
Mhm,
It is more than just reviews. It's like, would I like something like this, and what do I feel about like this mechanic? Does it look like a game I played before?
mhm,
Um, and then like longevity of the game. So how long has it been like in the running for like a very good game? Is it just hype, like I said before? So I do put a lot of thought into it. So
Good.
I think this will be a pretty good one
Absolutely. Yeah. That research is definitely necessary these days with how many games there are and
for
how little
sure.
time adults
Uh huh.
have. So for sure.
Uh huh.
But no, this looks cool. Like definitely given like, that cyberpunk aesthetic and all that. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely looks
I
like a good handheld game.
it's definitely handheld. So my Steam Deck has been great with it.
Hmm.
What else is another hit of mine? Oh, I haven't started it yet, but I did buy Death Stranding 2.
Oh, yeah, it just came out on
Yeah.
PC, right?
Yeah, I think I got it for PlayStation just for
Okay.
consistency because that's where I
Okay.
played the first one.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But yes, I got Death Stranding 2, and I know this is going to be a lot of brain power. Um, Not in just like playing it and doing these missions. It's that I'm sure in the most Kojima way,
Hmm.
the opening scene is going to be like a 2 hour movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so I just have to like plan for it, have a night, and just like, okay, let's watch a movie, right?
Have to
And
plan just to start the game.
yeah, exactly. And I'm sure there's going to be like a recap of what happened
Yeah.
before. And this was a game I played, I think during COVID, where Katie would sit next to me and kind of just watch through it because it was so interesting of a story.
Mhm.
And she remembered like start to finish what was happening.
Oh,
So
cool.
that's another like bonding game I guess we could have in
Hmm.
our library. But I'm almost intimidated to start it right now. I'm 40 hours into Ghost of Yote, so
Hmm.
feeling like want to make some more progress there before I start up anything
Sure.
new.
And it'll be there for you when you get to it.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
and Metal Gear Delta and Final Fantasy Rebirth and
Hmm.
all the
And
big ones.
Resident Evil Requiem and Final
Oh
Fantasy
man,
13,
yeah,
1, 2, and 3.
I just bought Resident Evil 3 because it's like $3 on for the spring sale on
Hmm.
Steam. Um, and that's motivation for me to finish Resident Evil 2 remake.
Hmm.
So a lot going on, and it's here to enjoy the ride, not
Dude,
to put too much pressure on completion, but being present with the games I want to play.
absolutely. There are like so many like great games out that like they could stop releasing games from here from like this point on, and like I think I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay. And it's like when I hear there's a online streaming library, it's like, man, I can't imagine playing every single one of these games. I'm sure they're good in their own right, even if it's for a little bit.
Hmm.
But yeah, if they just stopped making releasing games in the next year, there's no way we would get bored
No, not at all,
with
dude.
what's out there.
Not
Yeah.
at all. It's so good. So many games,
So
so little,
good.
so little time. Yeah. Is that all you got for us?
I think those are all the hits I have right now.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, Dan, this was a good episode. Again, we're gonna have so much to say to each other a week from now.
Hmm.
If we get something going there. But oh, this was fun. This was fun. I think we had some good conversation.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think it was great. And it wasn't as many games as we would usually talk about, but a lot to say about the games that we have played today.
Hmm.
And I know next week, just by being like in person, face to face, we're gonna have so much more to say and more content as we, get through PAX East and our little shenanigans in Boston.
Yeah, dude. I'm so excited for shenanigans in Boston. I can't wait to
Yeah.
see Fallout 4 in real life.
I'll point out where all the like monuments and sites are.
Yes. Is this where the institution? That's right. The institution? The
Yeah,
institute? Is this where
yeah,
they are?
yeah, yeah. This is where the
Absolutely.
death claw was, the first death claw
Oh
that you
my
see in Boston.
god.
Yeah, that'd be really
I
fun.
sh- Hell yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Double Kick. You can find us at doublekickgames.com. All relevant episode links and social media links are over there. And again, you can find us on Instagram, Double Kick Games. Give us a 5-star rating on, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, definitely helps out. Share the episode with one of your compadres or something like that. Definitely, spread the word. We're good people here. We have some good morals and standards. So, I like to think we're good. We're
Yeah, we do
good
what we
folks.
can. Yeah.
We do what we can. We do what we can. Shots I'm not sure about, but Dan and I are pretty chill. So
Yeah, we've been most consistent.
yeah, absolutely. But poor guy. Yeah, absolutely. Dan, I had a good time and I'll catch you in a week from now.
Always a pleasure. I'll see you in a week.
See you. Bye bye.